Hi guys, welcome back. Right now I'm doing the prep for the lesson that I'm about to do. Now, forever I have been telling you don't mix colors that create mud. And today I'm going to change that. As beginners, I don't recommend you playing on your papers with colors that create mud. You're going to be disappointed at the end. But as you progress through your artistic journey, there are times that you're going to need and want to mix the colors that sometimes do become muddy. So today I'm going to show you all the color blends that I've been telling you not to do. We're starting off doing a goldfish. It's obviously its original artwork. I couldn't find a coloring book picture that met my needs for this, so I just drew one up myself. And I'm going to put it in a pond with pebbles that I'm going to be able to mix my muddy colors. Why? Because one, it's the bottom of a pond. I want my colors to be a little bit muddy, earthy, dirty. But on the goldfish, I was able to mix a little bit of powdered blue in with orange. And then I really went to heck and I added in some French grays and some warm grays just to give it a little bit of translucency. I haven't put in the highlights or the white. I did put in a little bit of white pencil towards the end. You'll see that. Later on, when I'm finished with this demo, I will put in the white highlights. I'm going to be using the Ecoline watercolor, just highlights, because after all, it's a fish and it's in water, and you would see bright highlights on the water or on the fish itself. So I'm just finishing up the fish. It's by no means got its final details or its coloration, just enough right now so that I could start the background and we'll get on with the color blending. We're going to take these pebbles and I'm only going to color them in with the primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. And then I'm going to add in some secondary colors, the orange, green, and violet. That's not necessarily earthen colors. Those are rainbow colors. I'm going to demonstrate what they look like when they're mixed, and they're mixed in a way that it doesn't look bad. The only problem is when you're doing it in a lot of space, there's better ways to go about it, better colors to choose that already have the pigment mixed. Unlike paint, you can't completely thoroughly mix the pencil. You're always going to get a little bit more on top than you did with the bottom because it doesn't mix like cake batter. Even the Prismacolor, and that's why I'm doing it with Prismacolor, because it's the closest to being able to mix like a paint would mix. So I'll get back to you as soon as I get the colors onto the page, and you'll see this is just filling in the circles with the colors. So now my fish looks like it fell asleep in a ball pit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 70% warm gray, and I'm going to fill in some of the spots around the ball that didn't really catch on the stones. I'm calling them balls, the stones. Little itty bitty spots. I've been working on it, so these little triangular areas in between, just like this. And I'm going to go through this whole thing so you got the picture and just fill in the negative space wherever I see it. I'm now taking the opposing colors that I wouldn't necessarily choose just to mix, but when you do mix them, they become earthen. It's nice to be able to just create any color you want. Adding in some of the highlights, and I realized that the gravel is quite colorful, but I kind of like it. And I started adding some of these highlights on the fish. Okay, I'm going to give them a little 3-dimension shadowing. Not so bad using the ugly matches. I could put a little bit more shadowing on it in bigger detail, as some of these would be more underwater. I like to use a Mediterranean blue, not a black. Mediterranean blue. Let's see how Mediterranean blue will be. Just so everything doesn't look so clear. Then maybe a little darker down here. In general. Then I can whiten up the dots a little bit more. That's a lot more realistic. Leave some closer to the surface, but this helps it not look like a bunch of jelly beans that he's sleeping on. And I think our goldfish came out great. Maybe give it another coat. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. Give him a couple of splotches of orange, just to give him some personality. Red or orange, not so. Give him a little bit of personality. There. So it looks like he's swishing his tail. To give the fish a little bit of depth and to make it look like it's going into water instead of sitting and floating on the top, I'm using a little bit of Mediterranean Sea to tint up different areas on the fins. This will give it the look of depth. Now, the tricky part is I'm going to put it over the orange. Now I'm mixing blue and orange. Remember, blue and orange will react to each other. So I don't want it to really blend, but sit on top. So I'm being very, very light with it. This way you'll get to see both colors. This is probably easier to do with an oil pencil, and I'm using Prismas, but it'll still work. Notice where my hand is, way back here, so that I don't go too heavy and too dark. Just skimming the surface. Remember, art is an illusion, so I'm alluding to the being pure white, but it's not pure white. Now I'm going to leave this part as the pure color, as I want it to look like the fish is coming up towards the surface, but still underneath. Now, even though I'm adding the blue to the top, you could still see the different colors underneath. I don't want to destroy that. That's why I say it's easier to use a oil pencil for this. Or another trick that you can do is use a fixative spray. And if you use a workable fixative, it will stop the colors from blending with each other, and I can add other layers on top of it. And there we have it. And I hope this helped. Any questions, just add them to the comment section. And I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.